All right, many people waking up to this sad news out of Hollywood. Actor, director, and producer Robert Redford has died at the age of 89. You've seen him in countless iconic movies. You just saw a few clips there. It includes The Natural, the Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Way We Were, and All the President's Men, and there's so many more. Most recently, you may have seen him in the Marvel Universe in Captain America: Winter Soldier. He also directed films like Ordinary People and The Legend of Bagger Vance. He was also the driving force, many people aren't aware of this, behind the Sundance Film Festival, giving a platform for thousands of independent filmmakers. His publicist released a statement that Robert Redford died at his home in the mountains, surrounded by loved ones. Joining me now is Nigel Smith. He's the senior news editor for movies at People. Nigel, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Robert Redford seemed to bring like a humble star power to every role that we saw him in. But as we just laid out, he was also a towering figure behind the scenes. What's top of mind for you when it comes to learning of his death this morning and his legacy?
Yeah, I'm just struck by he was such a trailblazer in Hollywood, really a first of many things in his industry. Not only was he one of the most bankable stars when he became a star in the 70s, but he also became a director, as you noted. And with his first directorial effort, Ordinary People, he really hit it out of the park, which is uncommon for actor turned directors to do so with their first film. And he won an Oscar for his film directorial debut. And as you said, he also founded the Sundance Institute, which went on to become the Sundance Film Festival, which was responsible for the careers of so many other trailblazers in Hollywood. I'm thinking of Quentin Tarantino, of course, Steven Soderbergh, and so many other filmmakers have him really to thank for their careers.
And he's had such an imprint in every decade. What jumps out to me is that these days it's quite common to hear or see an actor turn around and say, I've directed an episode of television or I've directed a movie. Back then, I mean, Ordinary People, I think, was released in 1980. And as you mentioned, that debut of his won him a number of Oscars. But how unprecedented was that in the 70s and 80s for an actor to become a director, and especially to become such a successful one out of the gate?
It was very unprecedented, and it was also a big risk. I mean, this was an actor who was at the height of his game in Hollywood. He, as you said, he was already in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. He was in a number of successful movies up to that point, including Barefoot in the Park with his good friend Jane Fonda, who he would go on to collaborate with again many years later. He was in The Way We Were, of course, with Barbara Streisand, and Out of Africa. So this was one of the most famous men in the world, known for his acting, and he really went out on a limb to direct a challenging drama like Ordinary People. But because of his command of the craft of directing, because of his talent with actors, because he himself was an actor, he elicited such incredible performance that the film really has stood the test of time and is still regarded as one of the best Picture winners.
Yeah, he will be sorely missed, and he certainly left an imprint on the industry and on the world. Nigel Smith, thanks for speaking with us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.